Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Rape of Lucrece, which is about sexual violence towards women, so if you need to tune out, that's totally fine, I understand it. If you are going to stick around and listen to today's stanzas, we're looking at stanzas 105 through 108, and we are in the aftermath. The deed itself occupied about 2 lines in a stanza, and almost as soon as it was done, actually pretty much as soon as it was done, Sextus Tarquinius started to regret what he had done. There was this momentary joy, and then as soon as he finished, he got into the, oh my goodness, this is going to be stamped on my reputation for the rest of my life. What do I do here? But he did sort of turn to her and ask her how she was, and she replied that she's in pain and disgrace. And Sonnet 105 picks up there by saying, even in this thought, through the dark night he stealeth, a captive victor that hath lost in gain, bearing away the wound that nothing healeth, the scar that will, despite of cure, remain, leaving his spoil perplexed. In greater pain, she bears the load of lust he left behind, and he the burden of a guilty mind. He, like a thievish dog, creeps sadly thence. She, like a wearied lamb, lies panting there. He scowls and hates himself for his offense. She, desperate, with her nails her flesh doth tear. He faintly flies, sneaking with guilty fear. She stays, exclaiming on the direful night. He runs, and chides his vanished, loathed delight. He thence departs a heavy convertite. She there remains a hopeless castaway. He in his speed looks for the morning light. She prays she never may behold the day. For day, quoth she, night's scapes doth open lay, and my true eyes have never practised how to cloak offences with a cunning brow. They think not, but that every eye can see the same disgrace which they themselves behold, and therefore would they still in darkness be, to have their unseen sin remain untold. For they their guilt with weeping will unfold, and grave, like water that doth eat and steal upon my cheeks, what helpless shame I feel. So this is an interesting passage to me. We get a little bit of the juxtaposition of how the two of them are reacting to it, and there's clues in here. At least I'm finding clues that aren't there, but they do sort of stand out to me. There's things like alliteration here, and just the words that he uses to describe Sextus Tarquinius running away and her staying and dealing with it, that just feels very poignant to me. You know, there was so much buildup before the actual deed of Sextus Tarquinius saying, this is going to ruin my future, and how am I going to govern? And she brought those points up too. And when she brought them up, he's like, yeah, I already thought about that. But now that it's actually happened, he can't deal with it, and he's just running away from it. He literally just runs away. And Shakespeare uses words like he faintly flies, which the sound with the faintly flies makes it feel like this isn't a good thing that he was doing, or it can feel a little flighty, like, oh, he flies away, whereas she stays and screams into the night. It says she bears the load of the lust he left behind, which the repeated L's there just give a sense of weight to it, of what it is that she has to deal with. She bears the load of lust, and he has the burden of a guilty mind. So, like, yes, he feels bad about it, but she's the one that's stuck there dealing with it. And he runs away knowing that he did a bad thing, and he's hoping that the day is going to come because, you know, by morning light, he's no longer the guy who's creeping around in the dark, and he can just go on with things like normal. Whereas she is praying that the light never comes because she doesn't know how to hide this. She doesn't know how to pretend that this never happened, and she's afraid that anyone who sees her today and for the rest of her life will see it like stamped on her forehead that she has been raped, that she has been disgraced in this way, that she's been used and shamed and all that. And she doesn't know how to hide that. So she wants it to stay nighttime and stay dark so that nobody knows. They both want nobody to know. His method of having nobody know is to run away and not talk about it. Hers is to stay and hide. And I don't know why. I just find that a really interesting contrast in the way that the two of them are dealing with it. So anyway, eventually the day is going to come, the light is going to dawn, and we will get into what happens next when you come on back tomorrow. I'll see you then. Mwah.